What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another Nintendo Switch video. And cue the CJ meme. Here we go again. Switch Pro rumors, Switch 4K rumors, Switch Mini LED rumors, Switch gonna blow away the regular Switch, new Switch rumors. I mean, I'm just making up stuff at this point, but we have another one here. Nintendo Life and Economic Daily News are on the beat when it comes to it. So let's get right into what they had to say. Once again, this is courtesy of Nintendo Life in terms of the article. The source is Economic Daily News. So they are suggesting that an upgraded version of Nintendo's all-conquering hybrid console could come with a mini LED display courtesy of Taiwanese panel manufacturer Innolux Corporation, and I hope I said all that correctly. Now, the report suggests that Nintendo has recently visited Innolux with the insinuation that it may be parting company with a current screen supplier, Sharp and JDI, and using mini LED display technology from Innolux in an upgraded Switch rumored to arrive next year. Now, what is mini LED? What is that? Is that something that you put in your car for it to light up? No, it's not. So for those who are unfamiliar with this type of technology, it doesn't mean that the Nintendo Switch is going to have some type of miniature LED or LCD screen or anything like that, or it's going to be shoved into a Joy-Con or something like a VMU Nintendo Everything is Writing, but rather the main screen on the new console would use mini LED technology as opposed to the backlit 720p LCD screen that's currently in Nintendo Switch models. So the best way to describe this as a hybrid of a current backlit LCD screens with OLED style local illumination, and each pixel on an OLED screen emits its own light and can be turned on or off individually, whereas LCD screens rely on illumination from backlights, which can result in light spill and dark areas on the screen that appear gray rather than black. Now, think about it as how the illuminated black screen looks on your Switch when you first turn it on, which is a great example by Nintendo Life. So, contrary to the traditional LCD backlights, mini LED screens provide much more local field of backlighting to illuminate the pixels on the screen more precisely, improving screen contrast and potentially battery life as well, which is what makes this something that Nintendo would really be interested in, because Nintendo has already improved the battery life in two separate ways with the Switch Lite, that having an improved battery over the regular launch Switch, and then the new model Switch version 2, which has a better battery than the first Switch and the Nintendo Switch Lite. So it does make sense Nintendo would want to improve that. Now, the reason why is that there's less waste on a light spill, as light is only delivered to pixels that need it. So makes sense there. Now, Apple is also reportedly adopting this technology for its devices as a cost-effective way in improving its range of screens without going down the more expensive OLED or micro LED route. It should be noted that the confusing name of mini LED tech is different from the micro LED tech, the latter of which is essentially a smaller version of OLED. All of these LEDs, micro LEDs, mini LEDs, shout outs to Nintendo Life for breaking this one down. So what does this mean? Well, we'll get into a couple different things here, guys. So it could just be that this is for Nintendo's revision that's coming out next year. That's a possibility. But there's also another possibility that Nintendo's looking into technology for their next system. Now, Nintendo has stated themselves that they're about halfway through the Nintendo Switch's life. So, I mean, I'm not the best at math, but let's just do a little bit of counting. So, we're about halfway through. They stated that the Switch launched in 2017, so I'm guessing that 2022, 2023, that's when we're going to start hearing more about the next Nintendo Switch. And of course, if you're going to make a system, the next system, you have to start planning quite a bit in advance, right? Most companies start planning their next system as soon as their current system launches. So Nintendo could be looking to supply and kind of get some new technology, which they did state themselves. Mr. Furukawa-san said that, hey, like, we're already working on some cutting edge next gen technology or cutting edge stuff. So cutting edge could mean a lot of different things. That doesn't mean it's more powerful than everything that's on the market, just mean that it's new. It could just mean that it's new, right? It's a newer technology. It's something very different, new. It's not old, which even if you look at the Switch at the time that they were planning it, cutting edge with a mobile chip, right? With a mobile chip when it comes down to it, but not more powerful than everything that was on the market at the time. So it does make sense to me that Nintendo and these type of rumors would be coming up. We just have to wait and see what it's actually going to be. Is it going to be Nintendo Switch revision? Is it going to be the next generation of Switch? Now, I've gotten some opinions online from people and various different peeps like Spawnwave and also Nintendo Prime have talked about this. I know RGT talked about this, and they kind of all have a little bit different takes. Shout outs to all the homies. But I personally feel that this type of technology could be used for both. I mean, I think it's something that Nintendo could maybe try to implement with a revision and kind of test things out and then kind of perfect things with the next Nintendo Switch that does come out, or even enhance things a little bit more on that. Now, obviously, if you have a current product on, like, that's out there in stores and completely changing the technology that's it's using when it comes to like the screen and all that, that could be more costly than you'd want to do, considering you already have manufacturing and everything. Like a Switch Lite obviously is the same tech, right? Pretty much everything's the same, it's just a bit smaller and there's no Joy-Con, so they save money. Switch version 2, pretty much the same thing, they just increase like that battery, right? So they're just able to kind of advance the battery tech in there. So when you look at it, I don't see them changing up so much towards a drastic difference when it comes to the Switch Pro or this rumored hardware revision. Now, could they use this technology? Absolutely they could. They could definitely put that in there, but how expensive is this? Where is it going to be? How far along are they? There's so many different factors that kind of play into this that make me say, maybe they're looking at maybe something further down the line than a revision of the current Switch. I mean, there's even rumors, or at least more like speculation. People say, oh, well, the next Switch in terms of a revision is going to be like a Switch Home, right? Where there is no portable play. You just plug it into like the TV, like it's a home system and doesn't have that hybrid or portable play aspect, which that could be a thing. Now, is that the rumored next Switch? I don't know about that. We're gonna have to wait and see, but to me, it just seems like it's a bit too much for currently how good the Switch is doing, and maybe this is something for something down the line, because yeah, Nintendo obviously has to start planning what they're going to be doing, what they're going to be researching, and what they're going to be putting into this next gen Switch, right? Because it is halfway through and you've got to start planning for that next one. Obviously, you have a strong base. You have a lot of people that do love the Switch concept, and the games are really good as well. So I don't see Nintendo kind of letting off or saying, okay, we'll skip, the Switch audience. I see whatever they're working on next, not the revision of the current Switch, but the next generation model of the Switch, saying, yeah, we're going to have backwards compatibility, right? To where you can play all of your Switch games on there, because there's a huge library of games, there's a huge install base. So I see them continuing with that, and with that branding, that line, that type of name. We're just going to have to wait and see how they transition into it, right? How do they get this next or rumored revision, how do they get that out, then transition those people into the next gen Switch, which will be happening in the next few years here, right? Next 2 to 3 years, we could be hearing about that. So all of it is exciting, but at the same time, you kind of have to just say, okay, let's calm down here. This doesn't mean that the Switch is going to have some type of crazy, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X tech, or it's going to be able to be as powerful as that. Like, don't go that far. Let's just kind of wait and see on it. But it is interesting to discuss the possibilities and kind of everything that's going on right now, because this is an interesting time considering Nintendo has a successful system and they're looking to see how they can make that even more successful, offer more options in terms of the system itself, like they've already done with the Switch version 2 and also with the Switch Lite. and now maybe with another revision on top of that, going into, you know, the 4th year of the Switch being on the market. So it makes a lot of sense here. It makes a lot of sense. So we'll see exactly what Nintendo ends up doing. But either way, I'm here for the ride, man. I'm just enjoying the games, and it's going to be fun to see how everything works out next year, because I think Nintendo has a huge year planned for 2021. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Go and give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.